Hey everybody, Dirili here. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Twilight Romance along Albert's route. And today is the last video that we can read along his route because we cannot air the endings or I risk getting copyright strikes on my channel and possibly losing everything. So please understand. And if you'd like to see the endings though, you can download the app on Google Play or the iStore. So anyway, let's see what we have left to go with Albert. Episode 10. You can just sit back, relax, and let me read you a story. Shion's gunshots echoed through the factory.
How dare you?
Albert continued to evade the incoming bullets. What should I do? All I could do was stand there and watch the two of them duke it out.
Dad's puppets, Dad's. This is what comes from trusting humans.
Ray yelled maniacally as Leo walked up next to him and began to speak.
I will hand you the throne. I just wish for you to stop hurting humans. You think I'll listen to you? You always take the human side.
His gaze was ice cold. Is it possible that Ray has thought about humans the most out of all of us? The thought just crossed my mind. I'm a human myself, but I've never actually hated another human.
Darn shell.
Got a jam? It's stuck like that, because you're just shooting all over the place.
Akahoshi jeered at Shion joyfully. Albert saw what was happening and took the opportunity.
I do not wish to kill you. Please rest for a while.
I'm knocking him out. Albert gave him a swift chop to the back of the head, and Shion went out like a light. Albert grabbed Shion before he hit the floor and gently laid his body down in the corner of the room.
He was all talk, I see. Well, at least that takes care of one of them. Let's go to it.
His voice signaled the start of an all-out brawl. What an honor to be able to fight a king-to-be.
I did not want it to come to this, but I suppose I have no choice. I guess it's you and me then.
I am a hunter after all, so I'm gonna put up a good fight. Fetch, boy.
Dirili, what should we do? Stay out of the way. She leaned in toward me with a worried expression. I can't blame her. This crazy affair is so far removed from the normal. Sorry you got dragged into this, but it'll be okay. Let's wait over here, out of the way. Can't we just run away if we can't help? The six of them were battling it out all over the side, where the exits were, so we couldn't go anywhere anyway. Okay. Well, I guess that explains why we can't run. Wow, I still can't believe my eyes.
Let's see just how powerful the king really is. 'Tis quite unfortunate that it has come to this. I don't understand why you treat the humans with respect. They're nothing but food to us.
Albert and Ray clashed as sparks flew from their colliding blades.
That is but one sad way to look at things. Please open your eyes and accept the truth.
Ray brought his sword down heftily, and Albert deflected it, pushing Ray back.
You've just fallen blindly in love with Dirili because she looks like she did.
Ray cracked a wicked grin while he proceeded with his razor-sharp accusations.
I do not love her because of her looks. I love Dirili because she is Dirili.
Well, that's one hell of a way to get my first I love you out of him. My chest felt full of warmth. They're fighting tooth and nail just across the room, but I felt a jolt of happiness. He really sees me for who I am. Now probably isn't the time or place, but congrats, Dirili. Thanks. Despite cowering in the corner with me, Say patted my back in congratulations. Thanks. How should I return this feeling to Albert? Cheering him on. I feel the same way! Yelling it from the sidelines here. I feel the same way. It was just for a split second, but he shot a warm smile in my direction. I hope that didn't distract him.
I really can't stand you. Neither you nor that blasted woman. It doesn't matter if she became a vampire. Once a filthy human, always a filthy human.
Ray's enraged yelling echoed through the large room. The next sound to be heard was a metallic clang, that of a sword falling to the ground. Master Ray, what about me? You still love me, right?
What's going on?
The woman Leo was crossing swords with abandoned her blade. She slowly made her way over to Ray. You caught her? You're picking a bad moment to talk about this.
What is she thinking?
Akahoshi saw her headed toward Ray and pointed his gun at her. Now, with no threat posed to Akira, he quickly ran up and bent the gun barrel.
Oh, Akahoshi, what were you thinking? Jeez, you really are a monster.
What's wrong? You guys have a falling out?
The intense fighting suddenly came to a halt. I didn't belong anywhere, and I had nowhere to call home, until you came along and took me in. Didn't you promise me that you would remain by my side until the end of time?
You could feel the sadness in her voice.
I can never forgive humans for what they've done.
But why?
She looked like she was about to start bawling. I see now. She was originally human. Ray must have been using her all this time. Still, I can't but help notice the fact that he took in a human as a comrade, despite supposedly loathing humans to such a strong degree.
Master Ray, please say you will keep me by your side.
She finally reached Ray and fell to her knees, clinging to his arm.
Get your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape.
You just stole a line from Planet of the Apes, Ray! How could you? Ray shouted in detest and threw his arm up, tossing Yukari aside. He must have still had power concentrated in his arm for the fight as Yukari flew across the room and hit the wall, losing consciousness.
I will never open my heart to the likes of a human.
His tone was more sad now than angry. Hearts were not meant to be split into pieces. I wonder if Ray actually wants to trust humans.
Dirili, what are you doing? It's dangerous!
I ran over to where Yukari was sprawled out. Phew, she doesn't seem to have any major injuries.
Dirili, you really are too kind.
Albert may have also been worried about her, but he ran over next to me. Despite the current state of things, he was smiling. Choose to smile back. I smiled back at Albert. For a moment, I felt like our hearts were connected. I reached to lift her up, but Albert stopped me with a warning glare.
Do not move her. If she is bleeding internally, moving her around will only cause more damage.
Isn't she a vampire now? I thought Ray turned her into a vampire. Albert laid her down on the flat floor.
Mr. Ray, can you really say that you still do not understand humans after this? Oh, I thought I told you. I will never approve of them.
Albert and Ray both wore expressions of sorrow. They must both be thinking about the woman who looked like me. I understand what they're going through, but I'm still a little jealous.
You do not understand that here lies a woman who needs you, one who expresses her love for you.
Albert walked over to Ray and stood right in front of him. For an instant, his eyes glimmered with a strong piercing red.
What are you doing with her memories? No, I won't accept this.
I stood there, unsure of what just happened.
Please, you must come to your senses.
He must have implanted some memories.
What's that about?
Leo and the others brought their presence back to the foreground as they spoke. The Blackstone family possesses the ability to manipulate memories. Most likely, Albert implanted her memories into Ray's mind. Whoa, interesting. And we'll see what that does here right now in episode 11. The factory went silent. Everyone stopped their pointless fighting and now had their eyes on Ray.
These feelings for trash like me.
His voice was shaken. He may have even been crying. Ray stood there dumbfounded after Yukari's memories were implanted in his head.
Surely, you must now understand just what it is to have a human heart. Or rather, you knew it all along, but now you must accept it. Ugh.
Ray stood there, silent and listless.
Master Ray.
Yukari slowly opened her eyes and reached out deliriously to Ray. She's conscious. I put my arm around her and helped her sit up.
Why are you...
Don't worry about it. Ray's over there.
Thank goodness. Is he okay?
Those words must have broke the dam. Ray, while looking like he could burst into tears at any moment, walked over to Yukari and helped her stand up.
We're retreating for now. Can you walk?
Yes. I will always be by your side.
Yukari unsteadily limped her way off next to Ray. I watched them as they walked off and disappeared into the darkness of a long hallway.
Hey, we're not letting you get away too.
Akahoshi was trying to sneak his way out of a window while everyone was distracted, but Akira grabbed him. Nice work, Akira.
I was caught up in the moment. I didn't mean any of it. Oh, come on. What kind of excuse is that?
Oh yeah? That sounds even more thoughtless and surely requires some thorough punishment.
Akira grimaced menacingly and raised his claws to Akahoshi's throat. Akahoshi's face almost turned blue, and he hectically tried to plead with Akira.
Please, spare me, O kind sire. That sounds sarcastic to me.
Akira, I know how you feel, but he's just a pawn. Don't be too rough on him. Leo chided Akira with a tested expression. Akira, is he all worked up because I'm involved here? My chest felt tight. My heart was already set on another, and I'm sure Akira was aware of this.
With this, finally.
Time to choose my action again? We hope they find happiness. Why am I speaking for more than myself? We hope they find happiness.
I could not have said it better myself.
Hey, what about this guy? Sei, no longer cowering in the corner, was kneeling down and poking and poking an unconscious Shion. Stop poking him! Sei's got some guts. I couldn't help but let out a few chuckles as I walked over to where Sei and Shion were. He's still breathing, but we can't just leave him here, right? But what about when he regains consciousness? He's probably still furious with Albert.
Oh, where am I?
Shion blinked several times, and his eyes swam as he tried to grasp the situation. It's all over now, you can... But I was unable to finish my sentence. As soon as Shion caught a glimpse of Albert, he jumped up and ran toward him.
I'll pay you back tenfold.
At that moment, Albert's eyes flashed, and a spark of crimson. Given Shion his memories... He must have put more memories into Shion's head. Shion fell to the ground, mid-charge, and lay still.
I was there when your parents were murdered, but I was there to save them. I was unable to rescue all the hunters' targets, and I still regret it to this day. Back then you...
Shion seemed to connect the dots, and then his epiphany, he dropped his pistol.
I should have had a formal discussion with you, vampire to vampire. I've been a fool, hunting down my own kin this whole time.
Shion spoke softly with a pained smirk. The throne should still belong to you, King Albert. Leo softly declared to Albert after seeing the whole affair through beginning to end.
However, if I were, then...
Albert was thrown for a loop, and Leo stepped in front of him and kneeled. I vow to obey you, King Albert, as my master and as our king. Albert must have understood Leo's feelings, as he promptly returned a determined resolution.
Very well.
I have always revered you as our true king and leader. Leo stood up and smiled contentedly.
Reinstatement is not outlawed, but I am sure that some members of our race will oppose this. However, overcoming that and uniting the people is what makes a true king. I shall do my best.
And I will fulfill my position as your follower. We wouldn't want you bearing all this alone.
You know me too well.
I grew up always watching you.
Sorry to interrupt, but I have a question.
Shion spoke to Albert with a pensive expression.
About the reclusion of our race, I would assume. Yeah, I never imagined this would come to pass, but now that I know the truth, can I join you?
Really? That's a big surprise. Albert smiled warmly and responded in a soft tone.
I promise you sanctuary. The safety of our race is of utmost importance. I see. I'm in your debt then.
Shion seemed somewhat embarrassed, and he looked down at the ground.
Man, I was starting to get worried back there.
Akira recapped in a bored voice while keeping Akahoshi pinned down. Yeah, what are they going to do with him?
And Dirili's going to disappear after this.
What? I thought I would be happy being with Albert until the investigation ended, but Albert seemed to be waiting for me to say something as well. Choose. I want to be by her side, of course. It wouldn't be a happy ending otherwise. I want to be by her side.
I feel the same way. Let us discuss our future while I finish your painting.
Please continue painting. I want to be by her side as long as possible.
Well, they're settled. Shion, what are we going to do with this guy?
Shion's face grew even scarier than his usual frightening expression as he laid eyes on the captured Akahoshi.
Shion,
You think you have room to make excuses? I'll contact HQ and let them figure out what to do with you.
You've always been cool and collected. Pretty harsh, though.
You were able to make me believe in you, so you must have had some shred of decency in you.
And now I can live like a human rather than be pressured to lead the vampires. Thanks, Dirili. Leo walked over to me and thanked me quietly, so he's not going to go into seclusion like the rest? By the way, I'm still lost in the dark here. Dirili, would you mind explaining? I think they're probably going to erase your memory, sorry. Ah, that's right. I forgot Sei still doesn't know anything about this whole situation.
Allow me to explain. Please direct your attention toward me.
What? Shion's eyes glowed red. He must have erased her memories. Sei started to fall over, so I grabbed her. I knew it. I kind of feel bad for her, but... I held Sei up firmly and thanked her in my thoughts.
We don't want to draw her into any more quarrels unnecessarily, Dirili. This is the best approach for that.
I guess so. I still felt deep down that I should explain it all to Sei. And it's kind of sad not having a friend to share it with. But then again, I guess I am about to disappear with Albert. I hope there comes a day when I no longer need to keep this a secret from her. Knowing her, no matter what the story's about, she'll gladly listen. I could never have imagined how quickly that day would come. And unfortunately, that's the end for us. We can't go any farther than that. But you can probably pretty much imagine what's going to happen. I mean, there's the good ending and there's the normal ending. And you can probably kind of guess what's going to happen in either of them. A lot of these, they're kind of predictable, really, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because, like I said, you can kind of imagine what's going to happen. There's never really any big twist or turns with them. But yeah, still, it's a mobile app, so you can download it and play it for yourself. Support the game creator so they can make more for us. But next we're going to be reading Ray because poor Akira had the least requests out of everybody, so he'll be last. So hope to see you tune in tomorrow for Ray. Well, that is, as long as Charming Empire doesn't start up and interrupt. We'll see. I can't spread myself too thin. I might have to take a break from this for a little while until Charming Empire is over. Well, whatever the case, I hope to see you in some of my other videos, and I'd be so grateful for any likes, comments, subscriptions, or shares with your friends to show some support. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. Dirili signing out. Bye-bye, everybody.